thankfully there is an Overlord coming in, which will minimalise that. Great must be microing something else, as those Zerglings could see the High Templar, they just didn't do anything about it. And we have multiple evolution chambers, so going for an upgrade heavy build here on the part of Great. That's very clever, clearly taking advantage of his superior bases, of his superior economy, and also knowing that Free won't have done that much unit production as of yet, so instead just building a lot of evolution chambers, presumably for a triple upgrade. That's quite dangerous, the triple upgrade. No one wants a bit of that. Whereas no upgrades as of yet for Free. I do believe, I do think they are zeros there, looking at that Dark Templar. So trying to take down this expansion, but the reinforcements are on their way. There is an Overlord up on that little gap, so he will. I do believe this will survive. Yes, it does survive. The drones shouldn't have been going in first. You don't want to lead the charge with drones. That's a bad idea in any book. Dragoon becomes two-faced. Dark Templar maybe going to try and hide in the corner, hope that Great just forgets about him and then goes back in for seconds. But we'll see. I think, only one drone survived. 2 drones survived that little transfer there. So that transfer was bad. Bad ordering of your units there. You do not want your drones on the front line. You know, they're not SCVs trying to soak siege damage. You know, little TVT reference there for those of you who don't find TVT painfully boring. So, seeing the lurkers, we see the observatory going up. Very good play by Free. It's all about being responsive. There's no point either being too responsive to your opponent or not being responsive at all. You got to keep the responsiveness, like the risk taking, at the right level. And I think some players struggle too much with the right amount of risking. Some people struggle too much with the right amount of responsing. Free having the exact right amount of both. So, we got the robotics facility as well, so nearly all the tech buildings, or probably at least all the tech buildings that he's actually going to use, is he's probably not going to go for carriers at any point this game, although of course everyone loves carriers, even if the carriers are the bane to your life, you still have an awesome respect for them. So that Zergling in big trouble, splat. And a reasonable force actually. I don't know. You know, there probably are more than just those 5 Dragoons. Yes, there are more Dragoons, lots of High Templar as well moving out. So we are going to see our first big land battle in just a moment. Mainly a Dragoon-based force, Dragoon and High Templar. So that's the build he's gone for. He's going for the range of the Dragoon and taking advantage of the Zerg clustering and being able to splat them all with a good placed Psystorm. And Free being one of the best, he will be able to go also for a laying down a building of some sort there, most presumably a pylon, as I doubt it's a Nexus. So trying to really take some ground here and push back. Great, of course, he knows as well that, I don't know, so Great Psystorm going off there, only losing a few Dragoons. I don't know if it's wise for Great necessarily to try and push upwards. He probably wants to take down those fledgling expansions, because on the right he has 2 expansions now. Great now has 2 expansions in the top right, so I think Free would probably be tactically better attacking those undefended expansions rather than engaging the main land force. Of course, if he does go for those expansions, then he leaves his main vulnerable. So once again, probably not choosing to take the risk. Flank coming in, quite a few Zerglings on the flank, supported by lurkers. Storm does go off though, as the Archon was merging. Lots of Zerglings come in to attack it, and the Storm pastes the lot of them. So looking at the terrain, we're seeing a lot more Zergling blood on the floor than the blue goo of the Dragoon. So it does appear that Free has gotten much more kills thanks to his well placed Psystorms, and also now we have Scourge going after the observers, using the overlords to be able to see the observers and then going in with the Scourge. That's wonderful play. Now is the time, my friend, for the lurkers to come in while there is no mobile detector, but I don't think he has enough actually at the moment. I really don't think he does. He's morphing more now, but now there's already another observer there, so not looking good at all. Coming in again with the overlords, trying to bait them into range. Once again moving down with the Zerglings, trying to come in and flank him. So yes, now we see the flank coming in and a solid line of Dragoons forming, Psystorm going off, not a perfectly placed one I have to say, and now we see more Dragoons going down, then we see Zerglings going down. Very few forces left for free now. This could actually be turned, this could be turned. There are some lurkers back there that do need to be pushed in now. He does need to take advantage while there are just a few Dragoons there. Now is the time to push. Great. Now is the time to push. Don't just stand there, mate. You've got to get in there. Get involved. You've got to be in it to win it. And I just don't think Great is in it, you know. It just seems like he's just thrown away a lot of units, you know. And he doesn't appear to have that much of a, solid plan other than, get lots of tech. So I think it's actually level 2 on the Hydralisk attack. That's very interesting. So he's clearly relying more on the Hydras. I would say that means he probably wants to get things over by the mid game, because if you're going for more of a melee upgrade, that would mean that of course you are waiting for Cracklings and Ultralisks, which of course are a late game feature. I don't know if the Hive is out yet. We're having a little lull in the ground battle while both players reposition their forces. I think that's a Defiler Man going up, a Defiler Man, so we are finally going to see a Zerg spellcasting unit to hopefully counter all the wonderful Psystorms that have been placing in. A little bait and switch there from the Zerg player, basically doing little attacks and then pulling back to bring them into lurker range. That's a much more popular Zerg tactic of doing this little bait and switch rather than the slow push, as of course they are much more vulnerable than the siege tanks when moving, because of course the siege tanks still have one basic attack rather than the complete vulnerability of the lurkers while unburrowed. So we see some overlords going in there, probably mainly just to try and see if there's anything sly about there. A few Zerglings going into the exact middle, and it does look as if Free is taking my advice. He's probably got some good forces back at his base, so now he is trying to take down those expansions to the side, but Great has managed to rebuild greatly. He has got a good number of forces there, but there are just so many Dragoons there. Psystorm does go off on those lurkers, and oh my god, this battle is epic. So many Cracklings, Hydralisks, not Cracklings, sorry, just Zerglings, Hydralisks, lurkers, but that was a slaughter there. Just too many Psystorms, too many things. Yeah, the too many Dragoons, too many Psystorms just doesn't manage to work, and I think that's the first real big loss there. That is the first real big loss. That right there could be, that's the beginning of the end for Grey, I'm afraid. I know I would try and create some sort of a mystery as to who would have the advantage, or rather try and favour Grey so the underdog could seem ahead. But after that complete slaughter of that ground force, now Free is just going to come in, and probably Grey is going to lose an expansion here. He's not even bothering to go for the expansions to the side. He knows that after such a huge total army loss, it'll take him too long to recap, and then because he's also seen the Dark Swarm, he's reinforcing with the Zealots rather than Dragoons. Once again, very smart and very responsive. This is what makes a good player, the responsiveness. And you see now his switch to Defilers will be much less useful against those Zealots rather than the mass Dragoons that we have seen up until now. And more lurkers going, but just bad place from more. There is a good play going off, so a few of those Dragoons are quite badly wounded, but he's not able to follow through with any units.